you have to prove is that you're worthy of a shot. Because people know when you're right out of college, you don't know everything, and you're gonna have to be taught anyway. So make people want to give you a shot because they see something. Let's get started with our next episode of Breakfast with Alicia. I'm here at Snowfinch in North Las Vegas. We have how many ladies staying here? 7 plus Jordan. Yes. Okay. So how's it been so far? We're on day 3 technically, right?
It's been a good time. You know, it's a very nice house, very nice area. Love getting to know everybody in the house and just, yeah.
So we came in and all like talked right away, and I feel like we were pretty close even by the first night. So it was kind of awesome.
Yeah, I would definitely say we have a good dynamic here.
Amazing. And you guys create that dynamic. I said it yesterday as a team as a whole, but like individuals create a group dynamic. So if we as individuals are going to say, hey, we're just going to be awesome, and we're going to be, you know, our values are
Respect,
A,
Accountability.
C,
K,
and K.
kindness.
If we lead with that, everybody's going to get along. That's how simple life is. But let's do round robin introductions.
I'm Abby Platt. I go to the University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. I'm from Madison, Wisconsin.
I'm Joey Rayburn. I'm from Durango, Colorado, and I'm a recent grad from Delaware State University.
Great.
I'm Chanen Brinkman. I'm also from University of Wisconsin-La Crosse. That's where I go to school. I'm a junior, but I'm from Appleton, Wisconsin.
Margarita Estoma. I attend Long Island University in Brooklyn, but I'm from Houston, Texas.
So I have to turn to you, Joey, because I have to tell you a story that happened during the interview process. So I was in Atlanta, I believe, at a pickleball tournament. Yes, pickleball. Major League Pickleball. Gary Vee owns a team. They're called the New Jersey Fives. It's amazing. Connor was doing the interviews. And your name is spelled very unique. So tell everybody how you spell Joey.
Joie.
So he looks at your name and he thinks he's being very proactive. And he Googles it, and I guess he gets that it's pronounced joie.
Yeah.
So he thinks he's being all like, you know, good of him, which is cool. Like he does research. And he said, how do you pronounce it? Joie? Like he was all proud of himself. And you happen to say, no, it's Joey.
Yeah, I get that a lot, actually.
I will never live that down.
So that's been kind of a running joke. Not on your behalf, like kind of making fun of Connor and just saying, hey, like business is funny, like have fun with it. Like he made every attempt to respect you as possible, and he turned out to be joie. So here's Breakfast with Alicia, all right? Yeah. What questions do we have here? What can I help you with this morning?
I was just wondering what advice you do have for somebody that is more introverted and shy in conversations like networking situations.
Push your boundaries. You have to get out of that. I am a former shy girl. I still am pretty shy. Like I am kind of an introvert, outrovert at the same time. You have to, do you want that? Do you want to get over that?
Definitely.
Okay.
That's the one thing I think is holding me back sometimes.
Okay, I agree because I used to be there too. You need to push your limits. So now in this safe space of this community, we're developing a business community, but it's such a safe place that if you fail or if you go somewhere and you try to be outgoing and you like kind of, it's an awkward situation, everybody's going to embrace you. Hey, you know, Margaret, good job. Like that was good. Like, and give you tips or advice, or maybe embrace the fact that you're really trying and stick in the conversation and help you through it. But you have to make the decision to change. That only comes from you. Literally, for me, it was like, I don't want to be shy anymore. I see my brother and my mother talking to a lot of people. And then when I got to grad school, my best friend in grad school, she was just so good at it. She could talk and people then knew her name. And I'm like, I see where this is going. Like good things happen when you just put yourself out there. And when I started doing that, good things did start to happen. And for me, even starting my own business when I had no clue what I was doing, I basically started the business based upon my passion. So I let my passion lead sales calls. I let my passions lead when I was talking to professors, because that's really the only way I know how to sell, because that's super authentic. So be authentically you, be proud of who you are, and show people who you are. I'm a little goofy. At times, I'm also a little serious. With business, you kind of have to be serious at a point. But I am super goofy, and I'm not super girly. And I embrace that. You know, at one time, like, I'm sporty. I'm sporty to a T. Like, and I think a lot of girls on the strip are, but I was kind of embarrassed that I wasn't, like, super girly. But I'm like, no, well, that's not me. Like, how can I be somebody that's not me? So don't try to be somebody that you're not, but if you want to grow and be able to communicate and talk to people and get rid of that shyness, you have to put in the work. So utilize this trip to do so. Okay? And you can do it. Okay? You can, coming from a former shy girl. Yeah. Good question.
I guess I have a question about like the importance of master's programs. As somebody that recently graduated and is considering it, I'm just wondering if you recommend it or what your thoughts on that. Yeah.
I love all of my friends who work in higher education. I think there's definitely a place for it, right? There's so many opportunities that come from it. We grow as people. I think you have to realize or think about, you have to think about, does the job necessarily that you want mean that you need a master's degree? Can you get that job without one? Personally, I would rather see somebody go get actual experience than a degree. I have my master's degree, so I feel like I'm qualified to talk about this. What my master's degree did for me is I wasn't ready to enter the real world. I still had learning to do. So it gave me a chance to network more, and it gave me a chance to do another internship. And that's where I went to the New York Knicks, which I spent a good amount of time in New York. But I maybe could have got that same internship a year and a half prior to my master's degree. So that's how I think. Like, I'd rather somebody get experience. I'd rather somebody make the investment on themselves to come on a program like this that super gets you out of your comfort zone. You build connections. Like, think about your network after this. Like, whoa, like all over the place. And then their networks are your networks, and people just start to meet. Look at our junior mentors. Like, they're all meeting kind of for the first time. Berkeley and Jordan know each other, but Hector's being thrown in the mix. Alicia, who's been a big part of our community for a while, she's getting to meet them. And then we have Emma Fortune coming as well. Like, you're just constantly meeting people. And I think I would say, you know, and I'm not just saying this because I developed this program, I would put my money towards a program like this rather than going and studying out of a book. But you have to realize what's best for you.
Yeah.
You know, if you're going to be a doctor or something that you need additional education, you need that additional education because that matters. But as somebody with a master's degree, I never got hired because of it. Okay? It was my work ethic and my personality, which I'm big on. Even if you don't have experience, if people like you and want to be around you and want to give you that shot, right? All you have to prove is that you're worthy of a shot. Because people know when you're right out of college, you don't know everything. And you're going to have to be taught anyway. So make people want to give you a shot because they see something.
I have a question about elevator pitches if you don't have much experience yet. Like, what can you say to help you in that moment?
Talk about your desires, but remember, you want to provide value to somebody. Mm-hmm. I think a lot of times as young professionals, you're seeking, I want a job, I want an internship, I want this, I want connections. But what are you then giving? Volunteer work is experience. Mm-hmm. Some people don't put volunteer work on their resume, they put it at the bottom. Mm-hmm. That is experience. Mm-hmm. And when you don't have experience, you need to go places. You know, going back to school, I said yesterday, which is one of my most favorite things I've learned, is your first job out of college is the first time you're getting paid to learn. You're still getting taught. Mm-hmm. But at school, you're paying them to learn. But with volunteer opportunities, everybody's winning. You're getting experience, they're getting help, and you don't have to put any money out. So why don't people do it? They'll pay for college, but they won't not get paid for experience. Mm-hmm. I'm big into volunteering work. I'm big into, hey, if you want to work somewhere, do work for free for them, even if they're not asking. Don't ask them what they need. See what they need, and then go do that and just send it to them.
Yeah.
So I would say, besides worrying about the elevator pitch, worry about getting that experience.
Yeah.
Right? Go in kind of in order. If you're insecure about not having experience, get experience. Volunteering on campus, your athletic departments, your rec teams. Like, even if the softball team won't give you a job,
Right.
go to a rec league or something else. Develop a sport management program on campus. Develop an e-gaming or a pickleball team on campus. Like, do something that shows leadership that you could say, I developed this.
Yeah.
Yeah.
I just never thought of like being able to say volunteering or like this experience not really being a job would count to like talk about.
Why not?
I don't know. I just thought like you want to talk about like the jobs you've done and like how you're qualified, I guess.
So if I hire you, I'm running a 5K. I'm putting on a 5K. And I hire you for $15 an hour and I ask you to work the registration booth. That means you're getting experience, right? But if I reached out to a school and said I need volunteers and I happen to put you at the registration desk, isn't it the same experience?
Yeah.
It's the same exact experience. You're getting that same knowledge that you would either way.
Yeah. That's
One is
true.
being paid and just one is not. And sometimes events just don't have money to pay,
Yeah. True.
right?
Yeah.
Volunteer experience is experience.
Kind of going along with like a resume question, how would you recommend ensuring your resume is like as good as it possibly can be? Like, what do you think are the key characteristics to have?
Grammar.
There?
Grammar, like making
Yes.
sure it's legit and not getting it to a good point, but not focusing on it. Some people worry so much about their resume, they're forgetting to gain experience and connect with people. If you don't have a network that could pass along that resume, how good is that resume? Right? I did it too. I focused so hard on the resume, hours upon hours. If you have a good network and somebody that wants to help you, your resume doesn't really even matter. Again, if you find somebody that's willing to take a bet on you because of your personality, because you volunteer and you're hustling even when you're not getting paid, that's when your resume is going to be passed along. If you don't have somebody to do that, your resume is going to sit in a pile of 300 people that have already applied for that position. Guys, the game is networking and building connections so that they then can help you. Okay, build connections and then keep those connections alive. A big story is this. When I worked in the NBA and teams that were really sought out after, I had a ton of volunteers when I would go to schools and ask for volunteers. I get into the sport of cycling, which, you know, isn't as popular, changed my life because that is essentially why we're all here today. But I would go into schools and no one wanted to volunteer for cycling. And I'm like, you're only volunteering for the spots that you want to. So I would just say volunteer for everything and help people, right? I knew those kids that volunteered for cycling, I liked them because it didn't matter to them that it wasn't the New York Knicks. They just wanted to gain experience, and in fact, I gave those students an incredible experience, and we became very close. And one of those guys was Connor Hurley, who ended up going on my first ever living sport program in Barcelona in 2017. And look, he's here now, working full time. So that's how opportunities happen. And yeah, don't focus so much on the resume. Get experience, but develop relationships. Way more important than spending hours upon hours on the resume.
Going into a career that you're not sure if that's exactly what you want to do, is it okay to like go into it like the speaker from yesterday did a lot of part-time jobs, and I got from it he was testing out the waters if he liked it or not to become full-time. So would you recommend like internshiping at different places to get that experience, or start part-time? Or?
I would. Just getting experience is putting you in front of people that could then help you, right? Whether it's an internship or a part-time job at the facility, you're putting yourself in places where people who could essentially hire you or develop a connection and pass along your resume are. So if you want to work in sports, having a part-time at the stadium might be better than having a part-time job at Subway. making sandwiches. Because you're putting yourself in the atmosphere you need to be in. And I think, yeah, if you want to work in sports, you should be working for your local teams. You should be working for your college athletics department. Just put yourself everywhere. Yeah.
Yeah, sounds good. Because I came into this, like, I don't know exactly what I want to go into in the future. Obviously sports, but not exactly sure what. But
So
this is helping figure that out too, like seeing hands-on, like, what everyone's doing and them talking about it. Because otherwise, you can only learn by, like, looking it up on the internet, so.
For sure, for sure. So the C in our core values is curiosity. And that just means learn everything you can. The cool thing about this program is we have 50 individuals, 8 mentors who all do different things. Like, look, Hector works for a comedy tour. That's entertainment. He deals with the arenas, celebrities, all of that. So your first job doesn't have to be directly into sports. It could be around sports. Some people work for the sports department of Goodyear tires, right? We all know the Goodyear blimp, which is at a lot of sporting events. They likely have a sports division. Think about that. So when you're talking to people, think about what they're doing and how you could translate that to what it is you want to do and how you could open up what the sport industry really is. All right, ladies, you ready to knock out this day?
Yeah.
All right, cheers. Breakfast with Alicia.